Night of the Living podcast is always ad-free for patrons at patreon.com/NOTLP.
Welcome to Night of the Living podcast.
Welcome to Night of the Living podcast.
I'm Freddy.
I'm Freddy.
Are we playing that game now?
Are we playing that game now?
Oh boy.
I'll stop. Sorry.
Amy's a bitch.
I am. Amy's a bitch.
Amy got
I'll do it.
Got
I don't
into
even
something.
care.
Did you get into something?
I'm into something.
So-
Play baby.
You're Play Baby. You know who are Play Babies? The Golden Globus. The people at Canon Films were Play Babies as well.
Yep. That's our new theme. Canon Films.
Canon Films. If you know what we're talking about, if you know, you know, and if you didn't know, now you know.
Do some Googling.
There's a great documentary about this film studio called Electric Boogaloo, and you can watch the whole thing on YouTube. I was just telling Andy about that before we started recording. But yeah, I'm excited for this month. We're kicking things off with Cobra. And that's kind of an atypical example because that movie kind of came along after they had some money. It's not your typical Canon movie, and it's kind of the beginning of the end because they spent so much money getting that contract for the 2-picture deal with Stallone where he did Over the Top and then this movie. So it actually
nearly broke them.
Yeah, it doesn't even have their logo in the opening of it. I noticed when I said, "Where's the logo?" It had one, MGM instead because that's where most of the they had to shore things up a little bit. What we're used to. So this is a more flashy version of a Canon movie. So after that, we're going to get into Andy's pick, which is Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Which I've never seen either movie. So this will be, maybe I'll watch Breakin' so I'm not lost.
Breakin' is a lot of fun. It's a good movie. It's like, I think Breakin's legit good. Andy, are you a fan of those movies already, or was it just a wild pick?
I don't recall seeing them, but I know about them because they're just so, especially part 2, the title is just so prevalent in pop culture.
Yeah, it is. It's also like they do some
that
real
lame
elaborate
joke
stuff.
when
Yeah.
you know that lame joke where somebody pitches a sequel and they say so and so 2 Electric Boogaloo. You know that joke.
Oh yeah. This is the origin of that joke.
I feel this month is really going to test my nerves because there's only so much trash I can take.
Well, you
This
chose a good
month is
one.
just gonna bolster my soul. I love trash.
The one you picked, Andy, is really kind of lighthearted and polished, and they do some cool like stunts. It's like a big music video. And then Amy picked Rockula, which is like
Which I know we watched
rom-com.
not that long ago, and I remember nothing. I just like the title.
So yeah, the Canon Films, they made all kinds of crazy stuff. In the 70s, they were kind of like dirty movies, I guess, was the way to put that. Not quite hardcore pornography, softcore, but kind of a little more artsy, if you want to call it that. But then in the 80s, the Canon that I think we grew up seeing, and if you went to the video store, like tons of Canon films, and they were there with Vestron Video, all those people. But Canon were the ones that you knew you were getting like crazy action and car chases and God knows what. And you knew they were going to be weird. They were always guaranteed to be a little weird and different than everything else. So very exciting stuff. They did Cyborg. You remember Cyborg? Canon, let me see. Life Force. Remember we covered that on the show. Toby Hooper's Life Force. Invaders from Mars. Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2.
Yep.
Yeah, all kinds of fun shit. Anywho.
I like how excited you are for this month.
Well, it has a lot of nostalgia for me. Like, I just remember watching these movies on cable and renting them over, like different ones from these. They had so many little goofy franchises. Like they picked up, the Death Wish franchises. Those movies got dumber and dumber. And the Delta Force movies, again, pretty silly shit. I like silly movies.
Me too.
They tickle my fancy.
All right.
Where is your fancy?
Well, wouldn't you like to know?
Right under my chin.
Where his bathing suit covers, okay? Well, now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh dear, oh my.
I went on a long diatribe about Canon.
You really do love it.
I just wanted to set the theme up.
And you gave me that love.
Yeah.
You impregnated me with that wonder.
Did you not have like a foundation of canon in your own life?
No, I don't think so.
It's like Jesus.
Because I was the kind of kid who watched a movie and was like, oh, I liked that movie. I'll just keep renting that movie. So I never got around to canon films.
You just
when I
watched
was young.
Harry and the Hendersons over and over again.
God, no, that just made me sad. No.
Well, like I'm sure I've seen a lot of these movies, but I don't remember them to the extent that Freddy and probably a lot of other people in my generation remember them.
I think subconsciously that logo gets burned into your memory because like Amy said, I was watching these movies over and over again too. And that logo gets burned in. And then after a while, that logo triggers a feeling, even if it's a totally different genre of movie. Like they made all those ninja movies too. But I saw the logo, so I always felt like I was like kind of in a weird shared universe that was just this garbage universe where nothing was quite the way it is in real life. It was just all slightly off. And as a kid, you don't know it's because there's like a kind of an incompetence behind a lot of it. And that's why the stuff seems so strange.
A little slapdash.
Yeah. So in Rush, yeah, everything was rushed. But yeah, you acquire a taste for things, and yeah, like that logo, I'm always like, oh yeah, like they did remember Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren? Mm-hmm. Were you a fan of that at all as a kid?
Maybe I'm not enough of a dude to have this imprint on my memory.
Yeah, you weren't into the action.
You're low on vitamin,
stuff.
dude.
Is that right?
No, I'm like to action to a certain extent, but not to enough to where it burned a place in my memory. Like I feel this is very like Gentleman's Guide or Troy's like Not a Bomb territory.
Yeah, yeah. Those are good resources for all these kind of movies for sure.
Those are other podcasts, by the way.
But anyways, I'm thrilled.
Okay, good.
That's all.
It just feels it's good that we're not doing this in June where it's Pride Month, and so we're moving into to the super dude bro July.
You're right.
You got to swing hard the other way.
Yeah.
You see.
Is this a palate cleanser? These movies are like the definition of toxic masculinity and also like unchecked ego, I think.
Yeah, they're judging from Cobra, it's a power fantasy.
Yeah, and it's silly as shit. Good God, I can't wait to talk about it. Is there anything else we want to talk about at the top? Patreon?
Patreon.com/NOTLP. If you want to support us with your money. We put other content up there, so you can hear us yap about the topics of the day on Topicana. Origins, which is the first years of this show that are not available on the internet. We've been doing this since 2006, so we've got a lot of back catalog. And so we record new intros to old episodes, and we call it Origins, and that's a lot of fun. Then we've got ad-free episodes. So there you go.
Yeah, of this show and Zoned Out.
Yeah. Our Twilight Zone.
We try to give you a lot of bang for your support.
We'll bang you for your support.
We need
with
your
content.
support.
With content.
And if you know anybody who might be interested, please turn them on to us. And Esther,
And let us
congratulations.
turn them on.
Like how you just say to us instead of just turning them on.
Turn them on. I'm here to turn you on. Esther won our raffle, by the way.
She'll be picking our fourth movie for the month.
If you want a chance for that, just sign up for the mailing list at notlp.com.
Yeah. So I think that's all.
Amy, are you disappointed that we don't have a pun theme month?
Well,
a pun name?
I always love a pun, but I'm okay. It's if you know, I don't know what we would do.
I was thinking
what the
like,
pun.
it'd be some sort of explosive pun because it's canon, right? Would it be like
shot from a cannon?
Yeah. I don't think we should brainstorm live because that's probably boring.
Is that not fun for
I guess
you? Hear me say stupid things?
Yeah.
But I'm disappointed for you, Amy. But sometimes it's just not there.
Yeah.
If
and you can't force it.
If I threw a pun in the hat or a topic in the hat, I'm also not good at suggesting a pun. I just kind of expect it to happen in the moment.
Right.
And this one just is not an easy one.
This is just canon films.
Yeah.
And it's too late too because you already sent out the newsletter.
That's right. It's all out there. It has a logo on it.
We can't go back and retroactively name it.
Oh, you can do whatever you want. We own this shit.
Nope. It's canon now.
Oh, look what you did, you sweet little monkey.
That's a good place to maybe cut and go and run and maybe talk about Cobra.
Yes.
Turn out lights, it's the main attraction. Long story short, Dirty Harry was successful, and Canon Films noticed that, and then they made Cobra
When did Dirty Hair come out?
in the 70s. I think
So they jumped on this bandwagon
10
a
years
decade
later.
too late.
their idea was they were updating it for the 80s. I think that was kind of the tagline, but it's based on a novel anyway. At one point it was called like
It's called Fair Game.
something Duck. The original title had Duck in it. And they changed it to Fair Game when they made the other movie that was also based on this book. Do you know what movie that was?
It had Cindy Crawford in it.
It's the fucking Sidney Crawford James Baldwin. Which Baldwin was in that one? James?
It was Billy, wasn't it?
Or was it Billy?
There's no James.
There's not a James Baldwin?
There might be a James Baldwin, but there's not a
There's
James Baldwin.
Isn't
Alec?
James Baldwin an author?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
That's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, he's like a famous queer black author, I think.
Ah, well, there you go. He wasn't in it.
No.
That'd be super weird.
It's so weird they're based on the same book because it makes no sense. There's nothing these movies have in common at all, which makes me think the book is nothing like this either. But
Cobra.
the idea is kind of like The Omen, like where they have this cult that is in all walks of our lives.
Only you would
Is it a cult?
compare Cobra to The
Yeah.
Omen.
I'm not
Freddy-
not only me. I got that from somebody else.
I mean, I think they all have the tattoo.
Yeah.
They all are devoted to the one dude. Like, let me do this
Oh.
for you.
I just assumed they were just a gang.
No, they're the New World cult, and they're Satanists basically. I think, but so much of this got cut out because they were trying to avoid an X rating.
They just love hatchets.
Yeah, and they just, like I said, rushed and threw a movie together, and you're seeing maybe the highlights of what was supposed to be a bigger story. I think.
Oh, to me, they came across as this punk gang that just wanted to cause chaos and destruction.
Yeah. So what is it? Brian Thompson, who Alien Bounty Hunter, and
Yeah, from X-Files.
You know his face.
Yeah.
He has a very distinctive face.
That's the thing about Cobra. It's full of character actors.
It's weird, isn't it? Like I don't think there is an actor in the movie
There's so many faces
that
where
isn't
you're like,
a
I know
character
that
actor.
face.
Yeah.
I know that face. I know that face. I know all the faces.
You know who needs character actors around them? I realized is Sylvester Stallone and Brigitte Nielsen both. They need to be propped up by character actors in a lot of these scenes, I think.
Well, they're not movie stars for their acting ability. They're movie stars because they have screen presence, which I would give them that.
Yeah, that's true.
They were married.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone and Brigitte Nielsen.
Doesn't show, does it?
Boy, did they have the least amount of on-screen chemistry that I've ever seen between two leads.
So bad.
Well, is it because they're just bad actors?
Well, they did divorce a year later.
Yeah,
So we can feel the tension on the screen.
Doesn't Brigitte Nielsen always seem kind of like aloof and not totally there?
Well, I
Yeah.
think it might be a language barrier.
You think so?
Maybe
What-
like she's
was she from Norway or something?
some
Denmark?
Scandinavian country.
Yeah. But yeah, you can see that.
Diplomatically, he says. You
I
can see
feel
that.
she fell off the same branch as Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
With the same tree.
They belong together just like in Rocky
Yeah.
4. So yeah, Cobra is really what Marion Cobretti.
That's Stallone's character's name.
So-
Marion Cobretti.
That's a reference to John Wayne's real name. It was Marion, and
Is his last name? It was his real last name Cobretti? Is that a
No.
real last name, or did they just make that up?
They made that up so they could call him Cobra.
probably.
Well, with a name like Cobretti, you had no choice but to be a hard-nosed detective.
Yeah, and don't you feel like Andy, doesn't it feel like if he's named Cobra, he should drive like a Ford Mustang Cobra, like a Shelby Cobra, and not this big fucking like James Dean era. It's
like a Bonnie and Clyde car or something.
Yeah, it was like from Rebel Without a Cause, like the ones they drove in that movie, and they have to put this car through the most ridiculous chase and stunt sequences that it is the opposite of what you want for all of them. It's still pretty entertaining to what they do. And actually, in a lot of ways, I think
Car
it's
chase
cooler.
is fun. The car is stupid.
Yeah.
Car chase
And
is
with
fun,
that, I feel with a name like Cobra, you need to drive a motorcycle at the very least.
Oh, yeah. Motorcycle.
Well, he
would've been
was
cool.
driving one at the end.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
they made
But
sure the very end.
Yeah.
But you
when they
high-speed chases.
rode off into the sunset
Rode
together.
off into their chemistry-less sunset.
So what's the first crime that gets the ball rolling here? It's the grocery store massacre, right?
Yeah.
And-
Which is like
yeah.
shit that has happened.
Character actor number 1 is Marco. I can't remember his name. We'll say Polo. Who is playing the grocery store massacre guy? What is his name? It is Marco Rodriguez. Great character actor. As we'll just be saying that over and over again. He was, from True Detective, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's appeared on Seinfeld, Next Gen, everything from like the 80s to now. But he's shooting up a grocery store in very dramatic
And you know
fashion.
what? That looks so fun.
In the movie universe where everything pops up off the ground when you hit it.
Like he just goes into a grocery store and just starts shooting at stuff. And the first thing he shoots is a pile of melons. And I was like, oh, I want to do that.
It's like
how they
hardcore
have like
Gallagher
those,
shit.
you know how they have those rooms where you can just bash it with a bat
Yeah.
to get out your aggression. I want to do that except with melons
And guns.
or fruit. Yeah.
You know what? There's got to be a shooting range somewhere that lets you destroy like grocery store displays because
Yeah, I
of
want,
this
like-
movie.
That would get me in the door.
Yeah, it's like Gallagher plus.
You know who does that? Kid Rock. He shoots up Bud Light displays
Oh.
with a gun.
Oh my God.
Remember that?
That's not for fun reasons, though.
No. I meant to mention the director of this movie, George P. Cosmatos. I don't know how he pronounces it, but he directed Tombstone, which we were just talking about. Andy had just rewatched. Do you feel like, would you have guessed that this is the same director at all at any moment?
I mean, he's good at directing action and shootouts.
Yeah.
Because
I would say so.
there's an argument that this director, what he did in his career was he would show up on set. He would kind of get the lay of the land of what people wanted to do that day and kind of did that and went along to get along. And that he wasn't really, like they say, like Stallone really directed this and that the actors really directed Tombstone. I was reading like he did not have like a lot of respect.
Oh, so he's like a working director. Like he just called him up to, and
I don't get it. Like I think he was Greek, I think, and there may have been some language barrier issues too that led to this. But he was a guy. I think he was a seat filler, from what I've read. I don't know. This is all like Hollywood rumor stuff, but people said a lot of stuff about this guy that wasn't really positive. Like just kind of like the boss that doesn't do anything. Everybody had one of those.
I aspire one day to be one.
Yeah.
Back to the car, because I think it needs to be said. Well, we're talking about the original scene in the beginning with the shootout at the grocery store.
Yeah.
The cops are having a heck of a time because he's got hostages now. And the cops are just not doing well, the LAPD. Led by Andrew Robinson from Hellraiser and Deep Space Nine, Garrick.
He's awesome.
He
was also in Dirty Harry. So that's the other connection is
He was in Dirty Harry?
He's in Dirty Harry, and so is the guy who plays Cobra's partner is also in
the
Dirty
guy's
Harry.
eating all the time.
Yeah, that guy. Guy who eats all the time. He wears the page boy hat and eats.
That's another action movie trope.
Yeah.
Detectives eating at all times, no matter where they are. Even like on when he's being wheeled away.
Yeah.
In the ambulance, is like, I want gummy bears.
He did ask for gummy bears. I do like their back and forth, and there's some like unexpected. There's some dialogue in this movie that's so unexpected that
it seemed
it's
improv
good. It seems-
at times.
yeah, sometimes. And some of it was so crafted too, though. Like in the grocery store sequence here, I'm sure Amy, you probably have a note about that.
Yeah, so the cops are having a heck of a time, so they call in Cobra.
Yeah.
They're like, get Cobra.
The zombie
And
squad.
then Andrew Robinson is like, nah. And they're like, yeah.
He's by the book, and Cobra hates books. He doesn't go by them at all.
He's
He
never
doesn't even
read
know how
one.
to read.
He couldn't read it if he wanted to. So they bring in Sylvester Stallone, who shows up in his dumb car with the license plate that says Awesome 50.
That is like, okay,
So
when that
cringy.
popped up, I was like, did the guys from It's Always Sunny make this movie?
It feels like it, doesn't it?
Yes.
This kind of movie has a big influence, I think, on the humor.
Yeah,
It's Always Sunny.
But it's just such a cliche and parody of what you think an action movie is.
Awesome
Yeah.
50.
When
It's
that
really funny.
like the license plate, it was like seriously, it was. I chuckled, but
Yeah.
also rolled my eyes real hard.
I'm embarrassed for you, Stallone. That and your Trump loving. You're embarrassing us.
Yeah, he's got bad politics too. Can't win.
You just can't win. Don't meet your heroes. Yeah, so Cobra comes in. He gets to the bad guy. And he's like, the bad guy's like, I'm going to fucking kill them all. Or burn down the place. Or blow it up. He's going to blow it up.
Yeah.
He had a bomb. And Cobra says, go ahead. I don't shop here.
Yeah. He says, I don't shop here.
That's a stupid excuse not to let him blow up a place just because you don't shop there.
Again, a Dirty Harry.
I know it's like wisecracking because that's what you do in action
Yes.
movies, but it's a bad wisecrack.
Cobra is a tryhard.
It's half not even an original. It's half of the Dirty Harry, go ahead, make my day. And it's just go ahead. And then they probably tried out a bunch of different things.
So if it happened at his grocery store, he would be more careful.
Yeah.
And
He shops at Ralph's.
He's a
Yeah.
cop.
Yeah.
There are hostages in front of you. Go ahead.
I know. That's not reassuring
here.
at all to the hostages.
Do what you gotta do.
Well, this is that sticks with this theme of this zombie squad idea, which
they never explain that he's part of the zombie squad, but
Yeah.
they never say what that means.
I had to look up a little bit about it. It's like I can't remember what country, but there's a European country where they had zombie squads, which were the cops who, when they had to deal with like the worst of the worst kinds of criminals, and they didn't want to send the everyday guys in there, that these guys were supposed to be the biggest assholes in the most soulless group of people on the force kind of thing, who could go
That
in
tracks.
and deal with that.
because
Yeah.
that tracks because Cobra's a big asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, he's terrible.
He's mean to everybody.
He's a bully too. When those guys don't immediately get out of his way when he's parking his
they're
car.
in his parking spot. It's just on the street, so it's not your fucking spot, sir. Cop,
Yeah.
police officer, a cab.
Yeah.
All Cobras
all Cobras are bastards.
are bastards. Yeah, he fucking moves their car with his car, sir.
And then he
You
has
live
the
in a society.
gall. When the driver's offended, he has the gall to tear his shirt off of him.
Yeah. It's like for no reason. Like he was in the wrong, and
Yeah.
then they approach him rightfully, aggressively.
Yeah.
But then he's just. Granted, I would not square up with Sylvester Stallone, somebody that looks like him, no matter what he did.
I tell
Wiggling
him.
around in his tight jeans and his
Yeah.
cowboy boots.
Is he like the Dolly Parton song?
He is. He is exactly that. He's got painted on jeans.
He really
And
does.
was it the high heel boots painted on
Yeah,
jeans?
He's got high heel boots and painted on jeans.
But he's no cowgirl's dream though.
Yeah.
Anyway, like like Amy said, the cherry on top, he ripped his shirt.
You know, this is like an unnecessary, like unforced error in the movie where it reveals the microphone, the lanyard mic of the actor.
Oh, did it? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, and it's a real obvious mistake where it's taped to his chest, but it creates the illusion. If you're watching a cop movie, you think this guy's wearing a wire.
Yeah, but there's never anything to that.
Yeah, they just
So
left it hang there.
It has to be that they just left his mic. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it was an improv moment from Stallone.
It was. I think he got out of control. I think he did that a few times because there's like a story about him also accidentally hitting Brian Thompson with the gun at some point, like and leaving him bleeding. It was such a hard hit, which I'm sure getting hit with a gun at any. There's no gently being hit with a gun.
No.
They call it pistol whipping, not pistol stroking or.
Okay, so what year was Lethal Weapon?
I think 87, maybe. Let's see if I'm even close. Because this movie was 1986.
Yeah.
So you think there's some inspiration drawn?
Yeah, 87, Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, because I mean, these characters. I mean, like it's a trope, like the cop that the cowboy cop that plays by his own rules. But this character reminded me a lot of like the Lethal Weapon character.
Yeah.
The fact that they both live on beaches too.
And they're played by guys with bad politics.
Yeah.
What is the connection keeps coming? Yet I still love both movies.
Fuck you, Mel Gibson.
Have you never seen Lethal Weapon, right, Amy? Or did you say you've never seen those?
Have I?
The first
I might
one,
have seen the first one.
Richard Donner directed it. It's really good. Really good.
Is it good?
It's really good.
I don't know.
Actually, the whole series is really good. Even the number 4 was still pretty good.
So when Cobra gets home from saving the day, he gets to his apartment.
Yeah.
And he grabs out of the fridge.
Not fridge, freezer.
Freezer, sorry.
It bothered me. This scene was so baffling to me. It bothered me so much.
Everything about
weird.
this scene. So he grabs out of the freezer.
No, because he opens it. He opens it from the top where the freezer is, and pulls out his pizza.
Pizza and eggs.
Yeah. Well,
He
think
grabs
it's
a
eggs.
carton of eggs, and he's got pizza, and you're like, what is this man going to do with these?
And he turns on a Christmas show. Cartoon.
Because it's Christmas. This is a Christmas movie. You can
Yeah.
watch it at Christmas time and feel the holiday spirit. He sits down and he grabs a pair of scissors
Yeah, this part really still confounds me.
and he takes a slice of pizza
That's supposed to be frozen.
Yeah.
and he cuts it in half with a pair of scissors.
And you
And then he
don't
eats
you-
one part of it.
But then he
Yeah, he
opens
cuts the
the
tip
egg
off.
carton. Yeah, he cuts the tip off and then opens the egg carton and you see all the tools for cleaning his gun. But at this point, you don't realize that's what they are because you're still wondering how they
Why
relate
were
to
they
the
in the
pizza.
freezer?
Yeah,
And why did he cut his pizza with scissors?
it's weird.
Like, I don't own a gun, so I don't know gun care. Are you supposed to keep your gun cleaning tools in the freezer?
I have no idea. Are you supposed
No,
to
no.
cut pizza with scissors?
Frozen pizza.
Why did he just eat the whole slice too? Is he on a very tightly controlled diet so he can stay in those jeans?
Guess.
It has to be.
They got to paint them on every day.
So he's
Was that-
eating a precisely scissored amount of pizza.
Is that why he's so mean to everybody? Because he's always hungry.
Oh, that would explain
He's-
a lot.
He's hangry.
He's always chewing on those matchsticks because of it.
But I'll tell you, I just couldn't stop thinking, what if there were eggs in there? What was he going to do with the eggs?
He's a badass, Amy, who's just going to down them.
Yeah,
The movie just had
raw
me.
eggs.
It had me thinking too much,
Yeah,
and not in a good way.
he had a very strange dinner time routine.
Scissors, I tell you.
But I was expecting him to open the refrigerator and see nothing but like Chinese takeout and one beer.
Yeah, it was like it
yeah.
was still on that theme though.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's, I mean, it's close
yeah.
enough. He
Yeah.
has like takeout pizza,
Yeah,
but the beer has been replaced with egg cartons in the freezer.
he has to chase a cockroach away from it.
Yeah.
In some movies, they have to knock the rat off of it so you can eat it.
So the city of LA is being haunted by the night slasher, which is supposedly the serial killer who's killed all these people. And the only one who thinks differently is Cobra. And he's like, I don't think it's just one guy.
You know what?
I think we got a group here.
We were like, something's
nobody
missing,
believes him.
right? Didn't you feel that way at that point?
That when he said it, like, he didn't have enough information.
Right.
Well, that's probably a victim of the movie getting cut.
Yeah, all
is
the
a
editing.
scene that gave more.
Because the only connection you
that.
have is him saying something about the new world in the beginning and then him maybe connecting that to one of the other killers later and realizing there's more than one. But they don't give you a
No,
lot.
I think it's because there's different kinds of victims.
Yeah.
There's no one type of victim, which is why when he says, well, I think there's a group or there's multiple killers.
But did they say if the methods that were killed were similar?
all they talked about was the different kinds of victims, not anything about the actual crimes themselves. You don't get any of that.
Which they're all killed with knives, right? They're all
Yeah.
stabbings. Like in particular.
Cool knives.
Yeah.
You know the ones with the spikes on the on the handle?
That's where the first one, this is the first place where that design came up, supposedly.
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's what they said.
Knives are cool, man.
Knives are pretty cool.
Okay.
Artwork.
Knives are cool, man.
Yeah. So I was dying for, like, the best part of a detective story is like for me, I love the little bits of evidence you get to see the cop piece together. You don't get any of that in this movie ever. Never once is there like an aha moment, really.
No, it's just from action scene to action scene,
Yeah.
pretty much, which was fine. I'm not sure I trust the movie to do anything else.
Yeah, it's like it's as complicated as it needs to be,
Yeah, true.
which is not very much.
Bridget Nielsen, she's driving by one of the murders happening, and then therefore she can ID them. She knows there's multiple killers. So they decide they're gonna go after her, and then Cobra becomes her handler basically to keep her safe. And that's like the rest of the movie is just keeping her safe and them falling in love.
I guess.
But also it exposes some corruption within the system
Well, you get
because the
cop.
one of the cult
yeah.
members is the inside man and gives the information on Brigitte Nielsen. And this cop is not Stockard Channing, even though I thought it was.
She does look a
She
lot
does
like
favors.
Stockard Channing.
When you, and I swear to God, listener, look this woman up. Who is the actress's name? And you're
her-
gonna go, I know her.
Her name is Lee Garlington, and you will know her. You'll
will
probably know her from comedies more than anything.
Yeah,
But
she's got that face.
she is the best part of this movie, I think. The more I think about it, like, she is so against type. She's so into it. She's maybe the best actor in the movie, at least for the part she's playing and everything. Really, really cool. Unexpected. She just looks like a regular cop, like a real life regular cop, or a sitcom cop.
Yeah. Very Cagney Lacey-ish.
Yeah.
But at night, she becomes this cool cult member
Teases
that
her
kills
hair
people.
out.
Yeah. And puts like funky eye makeup.
Leather jackets, that sort of thing.
Leather jackets.
So the gang, they did this. Assault on Precinct 13 had like a cult gang kind of in it too. If you remember that, the ones who come after the police station. But when you find out about the cult and you see the cult meetings, they're a little underwhelming. Like,
They're just banging hatchets together.
yeah,
That's a hatchet, right?
I think so. They're hatchets or axes.
I want to know how that conversation came up. Like, hey guys, you know what'd be really cool? If we all got axes and
Banged
tapped
them
them
together.
together over our heads.
Yeah, that's
And
how
then
you
they
know.
had to go to Home Depot or Lowe's
Yeah,
or the local hardware store and
Ace is the place.
just clean them out of axes.
that should have been the first sign. This should have been like all these people with the same tattoo came in and bought two axes tonight.
And they tested them out by tapping them over their heads.
In an abandoned warehouse, of course.
Yeah.
It has to be in an abandoned warehouse.
So bizarre.
And or was that the Foundry? Is that the same place where the climax of the movie happens? Was where they were hanging out?
No, it cannot be
I think
because
those are two different places.
yeah.
Because I don't remember seeing like the molten steel or anything during the
With
other
the
scene.
Foundry, there was just fire everywhere.
Because it's the 80s, Amy. It needs to end at a location where it has like cool set pieces.
Yeah,
You know how Terminator did the same thing?
There was just
that's right.
so
And,
much fire.
Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
And one of the Chucky movies did it too, right?
No,
Except
that
it
was
was
a toy.
plastic. It was molten plastic.
That's the toy factory.
But still, it had molten stuff.
Yeah, but
Molten's the key.
You need to somehow end up a place that has molten stuff.
Molten. I
It
love
could
the
be
word.
like a restaurant where they serve molten lava cakes.
Oh, I love a molten lava cake.
I'll take one right now.
You know who makes those? Domino's Pizza. And if they're so hard to make, why can Domino's nail it every time? Every
What?
cooking show is like, you won't believe it. It's impossible to do.
but Domino's cracked the code.
But some 14-year-old kid working at Domino's can make it the same exact way every time.
It's called pre-made microwave.
Yeah.
Yeah, but somebody had to make it.
Yeah.
They did a great job.
Yeah.
He's really overcompensating for being named Marion.
And he says it, which is kind of weird too. They don't usually admit to like he's like, yeah, I tried to be tough because I got a girl's name.
I like it when he gets kind of lets his guard down.
Yeah.
And reveals more of his personality, even though it's still
It's weird.
dumb.
He's like eager to let his guard down. Which is funny. It kind of goes against the idea of the character. It's like he's so proud to like dish his character's backstory. I think that's because this movie is Stallone's ego like on parade, beginning and end, which is really fun to watch. It's peacocking like crazy.
Like crazy.
He even walks like he's like, I can
He's all
barely walk.
puffed out.
I'm too full of sex.
Even the way he runs.
Yeah.
Do you guys notice that scene of the hospital where he's running to save Brigitte Nielsen, and he's like very exaggerated? It's like Tom Cruise running.
Yeah, except he's trying to do something with his hips that isn't natural.
Yeah,
too.
and his arms swing in wild motions, like he's punching the air because he's mad at it.
Man, it is fun to watch though. It doesn't look comfortable. He always looks uncomfortable to me.
Right.
Well, wouldn't you be wearing those tight ass
It's
jeans?
the jeans, yeah, and the boots together probably. It kind of gives him like a bow-legged. Is he a little naturally maybe a little bow-legged or something? I don't know. I'm not.
Well, between the tight jeans, the boots, and the duster jacket,
Yeah.
And
it's
the
such
matchstick in his mouth.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you can
It's
tell.
a very I don't know, aggressive look.
You're a fan of Nicholas Refn, right? What's his name?
Nicholas Winding Refn.
Him. Apparently, this is like maybe his favorite movie, and a lot of his movies are the look of them are modeled after this.
Well, I can kind of see that with Drive.
Yeah, well, definitely with Drive. That's the most blatant.
I mean, he literally has a Cobra on his back of his
Yeah,
jacket.
and he chews on toothpicks instead of
Yeah.
matches, but he's still chewing on shit. Have you ever seen Drive, Amy? It's really fun.
No. Oh,
But
you
somehow,
go ahead.
yeah, but Ryan Gosling could pull off that character better because he's a better actor.
He is a better actor for sure.
He's got Cobra has a Cobra on his gun handle. Just
What came first,
right.
the gun or his name?
Right.
Or was it like a Kaiser Soze moment where he just put the pieces together?
He realized
Like,
his
Cobra
last
has
name sounded like
merch.
Cobra.
Yeah.
Cobra's got merch, y'all.
You
It's a
know,
gun, but still.
speaking of, they made a video game out of this.
Oh wow.
There were 3 different versions. There was one on like the Commodore 64, and then I can't remember the other systems. But in one version, it's like side scrolling, and you're throwing knives at people, and you help the Brigitte Nielsen character to clear the level or whatever, and you're just jumping, like platformer. But they have sometimes ducks turn up because the book had duck in the title, so they put ducks in the game for some reason.
Okay.
Or was it because Duck Hunt was a popular game and they were trying to piggyback off that?
It could be that too. That makes sense. But they also had one of them for his health, they had boxing gloves. Like Rocky's boxing gloves, but it's Cobra.
That's kind of cute.
Yeah, and they even had like there's like I think there's also a part of the logos at the bottom that the icons is a Cobra that stands for something, some game mechanic. But anyways, it's ridiculous. They're silly looking games. The cult members, obviously. I mean, this is like old school, quality
Pre-quality.
games.
You see.
Nah, I don't shit. I was born and raised. I was raised on that kind of game.
Yes.
Simple, stupid games based on IP that never should have been touched.
Based on simple, stupid IPs.
Yeah, like 7-Up video games.
Like Cobra.
Yeah, and Cobra. And there's so many bad IPs.
Simple, stupid.
So dumb.
I mean, there was that funny scene where she put a whole bunch of ketchup on her fries, and that was supposed to be cute and charming and funny.
That another food, bad, weird things in food with food and movies bother me so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're used to seeing a polished presentation of food on film.
But I can't trust anybody that pours ketchup on their fries.
They drown them. Amy's mom does that. Are you saying you don't trust Amy's mom?
I'm gonna look at her differently.
She's shifty.
You should see the amount of ketchup her mom puts on stuff.
You
So
need to
astounding.
put a little well on the side and then dip.
You let my mom enjoy her chub.
She loves it. You know what though? There's been a time or two where I've had something just so smothered in ketchup and I didn't hate it. If it's a real hot, salty French fry, big thick one with them crinkles in them, I'll put a lot of ketchup on that. But Brigitte Nielsen was a bridge too far. It was like soup, tomato soup with potatoes floating in it.
Oh, did he make that say? Did he say like, you want some fries with your ketchup? Which was kind of cute.
That's as deep as their conversations got.
God, for
But it
real.
was But at the diner, there's like a plastic model of a burger. And Stallone picks it up and said, "Here's your burger," or something like that.
I love those moments so goddamn much.
It's like, aren't they cute? They're flirting.
It was like, it was so stupid, but it was cute.
Yeah, it was really cute.
And it was so dumb.
Here's your burger.
Yeah, it was-
The way he talks, it's still funny.
but like
Oh,
when
God.
he tries to come across as playful and like and cute,
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
Did you? I had to turn the
Here's your burger.
subtitles on because of him. In the first 15 minutes of the movie, I used to watch these movies all the time, and I had no problems, or maybe I just didn't care what he was saying until now. And like the beginning of the movie, did you have any trouble understanding him at all? Or
I
was
mean,
it
not
just
really,
me?
because his lines were all one-liners.
So it's my
It's
hearing.
not like I need.
Yeah.
Very
It's not like I
predictable
need to
stuff.
decipher what he was trying to say.
I was wondering if it was my hearing or just like that I never really realized that he slurred his speech so badly.
I mean, it's column A, column B.
Yeah. But it was funny because I started laughing because I'm like, I have no idea what the last three lines were out of his mouth at all. Because it was like, then the thing happened, and you had to turn around and make things happen, and here's your burger.
Listen, I have never written a movie.
Yeah.
And I was saying this last night when we were watching. I've never written a movie, so who am I? Who am I
To criticize Stallone's writing?
criticize Stallone's
No, but
writing?
He's a
like-
good writer.
Yeah, he won an Oscar for Rocky.
Yeah.
Well, and again, it wasn't the editing is the problem with this movie. It's not really the writing, but there's
Cabretti,
Cobretti. But there's a funny story
who
about
wrote
that.
Scissors and Pizza?
Who knows? That might have been in the novel, but he approached the lady who wrote the novel about rebranding the novel and renaming it Cobra and having it by Sylvester Stallone on the cover.
Oh, wow. That's a little interesting.
I guess because he, wrote the most updated version of the screenplay, which was originally going to be Beverly Hills Cop. He was supposed to play Beverly Hills Cop before they got Eddie Murphy, and they gave him the screenplay, and Stallone rewrote the whole thing and took all the jokes out of it and made it this real serious movie. And they're like, this isn't the movie we wanted to
Oh
make.
God, yeah. Thankfully that didn't work out. Because can you imagine him like trying to deliver like those funny lines like Eddie Murphy?
You're not going to fall for the banana in the tail. I'm
Yeah.
not going to fall for the banana in the tail. Yeah, it would have been really surreal. Also, we would have been cheated out of I love the first two Beverly Hills Cop movies. They're so good. And Brigitte Nielsen's in the second one of those. Another connection. But anyways, I thought it was interesting how he tried to put his name on the novel.
Yeah, it's kind of a dick move.
It fits the whole theme of the movie and everything else.
Very macho.
just bullying people.
Yeah, just also
Toxic
putting
masculinity.
your name on everything, every
Yeah, like-
aspect.
And also, like, he really thought this was going to be something, didn't he?
Yeah, well, they were thinking they were going to make a sequel when they first made it, and the problem is, and this goes back to what I was saying before we started talking about the movie, but Cannon was doing fine making itty bitty little $1 million movies until this happened, and they had to get Stallone. They had to basically. He's like, well, I've got the money for Stallone now if I offer him over $10 million. And then it kept blowing up. And this is really the reason now that actors make so much money is because of, some film historians argue that this is part of that change, is because Stallone was able to get so much money from Cannon to make Over the Top and Cobra, that everybody else started demanding more higher salaries from the bigger studios too.
Is inflation.
But what they were doing the whole time is Cannon shooting themselves in the foot, because what they're spending on this movie, they could have made 20 other movies for, but in their old model. And then so it's just all collapsed after a while of trying to maintain. That's why they ended up making like Superman 4 and Masters of the Universe and all these other IP. And they just tried to lean into the bigger budget stuff, and it fucked them. They wax wings, man. It's Kid Icarus all over again.
Wax wings,
But I will
man.
say, like, there are times it does show that they did put more money and effort into this. I thought the chase scene was really cool. Really well
Car
done.
chase, yeah.
When he did the 180 spin,
Yeah,
that was cool as shit.
and there's like big sets and like location shots and a lot of crowd shots. Like, so like they definitely put some money into this, not to just where Stallone is involved.
Yeah, it's a good looking movie. It's fun. It feels like, and I had just watched To Live and Die in L.A.
Yeah,
It feels like somebody trying to make that movie who doesn't really 100% understand what they want out of it, but
Yeah,
it
I mean,
feels similar.
there is some like cool grittiness to it.
Yeah, it's got moments.
You know that scene where they're in the garage and Brigitte Nielsen is running from the cult members, and she opens the elevator and a cop pops out,
Yeah,
and then they just ram a van into the cop. That was a really like I said, there's some really cool scenes in this movie.
I had to stop it and go back and watch that again. I couldn't tell where that changed from a performer to a dummy, and I don't know if it did. I'm like, what?
They killed that guy.
It just looks like they straight up killed somebody. It really did. That was, Andy. I'm glad you brought that up. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, and the same thing with the whole sequence at the foundry.
Yeah.
I think that was really well done too.
Oh yeah, Brian. I thought Brian
Reminded me a lot
Thompson was
of-
awesome in that sequence. Yeah.
That whole sequence reminded me a lot of The Fugitive,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
right down to the hooks going across the screen.
Yeah. You mean the Harrison Ford Fugitive, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. The Brian Thompson's voice in this is almost like Buffalo Bill. It's before Buffalo Bill, but he has that real deep kind of
it
delivery.
sounded like they put a filter on him.
I don't think they did. I
On
think
the
that's
voice,
just
yeah.
his voice. He can just get his voice really deep.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's like that stereotypical deep voice that they put on, especially when like a woman is trying to try to make a woman sound like a man. They put that deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because he's like, hey, pig.
Yeah.
And you're like, is that Mimi tuned down?
Mimi
An
from the
octave?
Drew Carey Show, Freddy.
Yeah. Because when you think about it, like all of Brian Thompson's dialogue could also be Mimi dialogue for the Drew Carey Show.
We've been watching the Drew Carey Show.
If you read it in her voice, that's not a current,
That's an old ass reference.
but our listeners will know what you're talking about.
I hope so.
Oh
You
yeah,
just call our listeners old.
great quotes. You're a disease and I'm the cure. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Cabretti, do you know you have an attitude problem? He says, yeah, but it's just a little one. Also cute.
This movie was so silly.
It is super silly.
I'd watch it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
The court is civilized, isn't it, pig?
It's a good bad movie.
And
If you're
then,
looking for something to sit and to laugh at with your friends, this is a good one.
Oh, and it's got I forgot, we didn't mention the opening narration where it's Stallone's, he's like, in America, there's a burglar every 11 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Crime statistics.
Felt like propaganda.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It was very much like, it felt, this movie has a very propaganda kind of vibe to it. For sure. So does the Death Wish sequels they did. Because Death Wish was such a good movie on its own, really. I mean, like, and then what they did to that movie, it's like shocking how serious the first one is and how they just progressively get stupider and stupider until it feels like trauma by the fourth and fifth one. It really does. Oh, man.
But this is what I like like about the 80s. Like so much camp came out of it because everybody was just so sincere in what they were trying to do.
I agree, man. It's really fun.
Yeah, Freddy, you called it as camp when we were like halfway through. You're like, this is camp.
I also love like people who I would despise in real life. Like the stories I hear about the Golden Globus guys and everything and the behind, you're kind of like, ugh, these guys, but they were also like purely just about what they were doing so much that it felt like it's all wrapped up in this ridiculous story and that they're not real people to me. I don't think of the people who ran Canon. They're all like caricatures.
Yeah.
And it makes it more fun. I don't want to know too much. I like just knowing that they are like the typical sleazy Hollywood producers and they want the silliest shit out of these movies and that keeps them staying dumb. Movies staying dumb, which is brilliant. Movies should be dumb sometimes.
Keeps it dumb, which is brilliant.
You know?
All right.
Yeah. But who's that Brian? What's his last name? Brian Thompson. Thought he had like a very brutal and cool death.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Wait, remind me.
He put him on the fucking hook as it's going by.
Oh, yes.
But that's not the only thing. It drags him right into the fucking liquid molten steel and burns him up.
He gets hooked, then burned.
It was a pretty good death.
Yeah, it was like he was barbecue or something. Like he's a slab of meat put on a hook, then you push him through the barbecue.
I think his girlfriend deserved a much better death. She just got shot and went down.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, yeah, good shit.
Yeah, and some other poor guy got some gasoline or like some flammable material tossed on him. And then, like, Stallone has that classic moment where he just lights a match and just flicks it at him. He catches on fire.
What did he say to him? Do you remember?
It was some one-liner.
Some dumb one-liner, yeah. Yeah, but anyways, it was...
But I just feel that's very not OSHA approved to have just barrels of gasoline laying around in a foundry.
And just open flame at every turn.
Yeah.
For true.
She's walking down a hallway and there's little jets of flame that she's ducking. Like, people have to work here. There can't just be flame everywhere.
That's what they do, though. They make flame stuff.
This is a world without regulations.
I've never worked in a foundry, so maybe that's how it actually is.
You know what we need to do now after seeing this? We got to find the riff tracks over the top. That's not in the binder, is it, Andy?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
That's one that's been eluding me for a while. I've heard is a really good riff tracks, which is the other movie from the same contract.
Yeah.
Which is also ridiculous in its own way. Tries to be real wholesome. Sucks.
Right on.
But it's also hilarious. And it might make you feel good if you're a little, like, if you deprive yourself of oxygen first. It might be a feel-good movie if you put your head in a bag and then you watch it. Because it's almost a feel-good movie.
All right.
You know what? Even though Stallone doesn't go by the book, he gets results.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. He does.
That's why he's on the zombie squad.
In spite of like the huge amount of collateral damage that people took in this movie, so many bystanders got killed. So
true. When he punched his boss at the end, who I think originally was going to be involved with the
Andrew Robinson.
Yeah, Andrew Robinson from Hellraiser. He slugs. At first, it seems like they're going to be all right, and then he says something that rubs Cobretti the wrong way.
He's just been waiting to hit him.
Yeah, he unloads on him, big old punch to the nose. But I think he was going to be like one of the serial killers originally, and they changed the editing, which would have made sense because I suspected it the whole time, even though I hadn't seen this movie since I was probably 13 or something. But like, I suspected.
You can't have two inside men.
Yeah, well, I was like, I think it's because I just associate Andrew Robinson with playing weirdos and killers and stuff.
People with ulterior motives.
Yeah, he's good at that.
All right. Cobra.
Yeah, every time I think, Andy keeps bringing up good shit. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that part. That part too. I'm glad that we own this now. We'll revisit it in a year.
Yes.
It'll be like on the anniversary.
On the anniversary of the first watch.
Of the first watch.
Love it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, what's the algorithm been treating us to?
Oh, I finally watched The Gorge, Andy.
Was that the Is that the Anya Taylor-Joy movie?
Yeah, it was cute.
Isn't it stupid?
It's real dumb.
Isn't it dumb?
It's real dumb. Yeah, but it was good enough. I liked them together. I thought they had good chemistry,
Yeah.
but the movie around them was real silly.
Yeah, it was kind of shocking to see somebody like that big of a star, because I think she's a pretty big star.
She's huge right now. Yeah.
Yeah, to just do this type of movie. She's like really in the weeds in here.
Yeah. I love the two of them flirting with each other back and forth. I thought was really sweet and fun. Something different. But yeah, it turned into just kind of direct by the end, where it was just the basic thing. You know, you're like, oh, this movie is not trying to say much of anything at all. But I like the creature design was pretty creepy. They were like half plant, half people designs in it that were real cool.
Okay, good to know. What else you been watching? Because you know Freddy likes to download his entire history.
Well, mine's not very much because you turned me on to Jail, which is an old addiction I had years ago.
You talk about Jail.
You watched Jail, Andy, ever? The old reality show? It's on Peacock now.
Jail? Like Jail.
It's
Yeah.
when they arrest people and they bring them to jail. It's their intake.
I
And it's
don't
just,
know.
they put cameras in there. That shit's fire.
It is really good.
I could sit and watch it.
But I feel like these are all like low level crimes, right?
No, it's
Like
everything.
Drunk disorderly.
but it's
and-
usually
It's
drunk and
mostly
disorderly.
drunks.
Yeah.
Public intoxication.
It's whatever came in when the cameras were there. It's very random.
Mm-hmm.
They even did some Cincinnati stuff too.
Yeah. There's a Vegas one, like just Jail Vegas, so you only see Vegas, which is that place is crazy.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Jail's so fun.
It's a good time. Sometimes it's a little sad, but not usually.
Yeah.
They're usually kind of like very Andy Griffith drunk tank kind of vibes until somebody takes it too far, smears poop on something or drops trowel, flashes everybody.
They have to put the spit hood on people a lot.
Suicide smocks.
Do they people get arrested? Do they still have to sign a waiver, or is that like public domain stuff?
We had this conversation. I have no idea. I wonder. I didn't bother looking it
it's
up.
not like they're filming them in public. They're filming them at the jail. I don't know. Because to me, you're getting people at their lowest point. Who would ever say, yeah, sure, put my face on TV? They have to pay them.
Yeah, there's probably some.
There has to be some money in it. Otherwise, I just...
That or people just really do want to be on TV so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
I mean, it's like, I know like police video gets released all the time, but they're not airing this on like a network or anything like that, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's an
Pretty
interesting conundrum. I was wondering it myself. I'd choose not to go down the research rabbit hole it would require because it's probably different in every state. And then I'll have to read like 4 Wikipedias,
50 of them, perhaps.
you know. Well, I'll get bored after 4 of them.
Oh, okay.
And then a new bit of trivia will pop up that we'll want to know the answer to. Like, Cobretti, is that a real Italian name?
I doubt it.
We don't know.
It probably is, but I doubt
Sounds like a jarred sauce.
What if Cobra is a real Italian name and Cobretti isn't?
Whoa.
No.
Dun, dun, dun.
Blown.
Reversals.
Is that all you have?
That's all I have. Yeah.
That's,
I told you I
uh,
burned up a bunch of jail episodes.
That's surprising because you don't watch a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because I filled that time with jail. I was in jail that whole time.
You're in jail.
Yeah.
Well, I finished Journey to the Center of the Earth, and it was good. I highly recommend it.
It was a nice journey.
It was a nice journey. Although I got confused because, well, I don't want to spoil anything.
Because it's also a canon film.
It is also a canon film. They did do an adaptation of it, and I almost picked it, but the reason why I didn't is because it's not the story at all.
Yeah.
I looked at the description. I'm like, nope, that's not even close.
Well, that movie was half finished, and they let another director come in and fill in the blanks that they didn't have the money to do.
Really?
All the effect sequences were missing, and he came in and redo it. So I don't even know what that end product looks like. I'm kind of
Yeah.
curious.
I mean, we can watch it. I think it was streaming somewhere,
Yeah.
but
It's probably torture.
I don't know. Yeah, no, it was a great read. I might keep going on these. I have a very shallow science fiction book experience. For somebody who's so into Star Trek, you'd think I'd be more into sci-fi like novels and shit, and I'm not as or my experience isn't as high. So I'm enjoying going back to these old.
Getting a foundation of where it all
I've
comes
never,
from.
but I've never read any of this stuff
Yeah.
before. Like H.G. Wells, I've never read any of that stuff. So I think
I
I'm gonna
wonder
dip in.
I imagine that will probably make you enjoy like more contemporary stuff on a deeper level because I always feel like when I was reading Stephen King growing up, he'd always talk about like Lovecraft and Bradbury, and that's why I read that stuff was because of him.
Right.
So I feel like it works in reverse as well. You're going to have this deep knowledge and understanding of it, and you're going to become a scholar and a lady.
The lady.
Maybe did you read like any more contemporary sci-fi?
I've read a handful of Star Trek novels.
Oh, not like you never read any Crichton books.
Yes, yes. Back
That's
in high
very.
school.
You start to say you've dealt in Crichton.
I have dealt in Crichton, Michael Crichton.
That's a very easy. Those are easy reads because
Oh,
I read
yeah.
those. I read those in like middle school, junior, like high school. So
Yeah.
Did you do Andromeda Strain too, or did you?
Yeah,
those were
like
all
I
good.
started
I read
with
them all.
like Jurassic Park and stuff, but that's because the movie was so popular and I read that, and when the movie came out, then I read all these other stuff like Sphere and what's the monkey one?
Oh, Congo.
Stuff like that.
Those are so much fun. They're so stupid.
Now you make me want to go back and read them. At least like the Andromeda Strain, I remember kind of enjoying.
Oh, that one was really
I enjoyed
fun.
all of them. What am I talking about?
I like the
all
Andromeda
good.
Strain because it feels like a Stephen King book.
Yeah.
I'm a one-trick pony. I know what I like. And it's Stephen King usually.
Yes. Apparently.
Very basic.
So I finished that. Then what is back is Criminal Minds Evolution, which I really have been enjoying. Once you get over you're like, yeah,
All the swearing.
No. The thing about Criminal Minds is I really enjoy it. But if you sit and binge it, it's rough. It's a lot of ladies crying and being murdered.
Yeah.
So
Depressing.
it can get a little depressing.
I mean, that's what is kind of what you to be expected for those like 1 hour
Yes.
crime shows and
Yes.
procedurals. Like SVU was like a nonstop
Yeah.
drama parade.
Yeah.
Which is
it's
why
true.
those shows work better on a weekly basis. But see, I decided to sit and binge all that's out so far of Criminal Minds Evolution, which is Criminal Minds isn't on regular TV anymore. Now it's just on Paramount Plus.
Fucking
Doesn't
Paramount
matter.
Plus?
You can figure it out.
You gotta say
listener, if
fucking in
care
front
that
of it
much.
though.
But
'Cause
now
that's what
that
they do
they're
now.
on just a streaming service, they can say whatever they want now. So the F word is just flowing freely.
It's really hilarious it's so jarring the first couple
yeah.
of times you see these characters
Now it's
swearing.
just funny.
Yeah, if you've watched it on regular TV.
But
It is funny.
They're doing like season long stories instead of where it used to be on TV. It was more procedural every week. It was a different.
Oh, they have a
crime.
big bad now.
Now they have a big bad. But what's his face from the Flanagan universe? Zach Gilford. He was in Midnight Mass and Fall of the House of Usher. Was that what it was called, or just House of Usher?
Follow the house.
It's pronounced Ursher.
Ursher. And of course from Friday Night Lights. So he's one of the big bads in the show, and he's great. I enjoy him a lot.
Yeah, he's good.
So if you're into true crime, then I'm sure you've already watched Criminal Minds before. If you don't have Paramount Plus, I say, it's worth a free trial to get in these new seasons of Criminal Minds.
If you like swear words.
I'm not being paid by anybody
You want
to
to see
say that.
What's his name? Who plays Fat Tony?
Oh, Joe
Manganiello?
Mantegna.
Mantegna.
Did I say that right?
Mantegna, I think.
Close enough.
It's just weird to hear him drop the
Yeah,
F-bomb.
it's just Mantegna, right?
Mantegna.
That sounds right.
Mantegna.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Mantegna.
Mantegna. Anyway,
All
Okay.
right.
that's all.
So,
I got.
I watched the first couple episodes of the new season of Squid Game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
and forgot a lot of it because from the previous season, because it took like 6 months off or however long, and I don't operate like that anymore, where I can remember things.
Recap didn't do it.
There wasn't like a previously on or anything like that, but I probably should have done that.
So just threw you right back into it.
Yeah, they should have given
also,
you
it's like I'm just not used to Korean names yet, and they're throwing in like all the, everybody's in the same outfit and numbers, so it was hard for me to get back into where we left off
right.
on Squid Game. But like once it got going, it became easier, and that's a me problem. It's not a Squid Game problem.
I do that with
But
some of these old movies too, Andy, where everybody looks they dress in the same kind of clothes and everything.
Yeah, but it's like it's not Squid Game season 1, because like, how can it be? That was like lightning in a bottle. So this season they
Is this 3?
but like it was basically one season, but they split it up to
Gotcha.
2. So basically 2 and 3 are one season, but they try to do some new things with it. By going into the backstory of the front man. That's what that's the person that runs the games, and there's like a drama with him and drama with like his brother and the people that are trying to overthrow the game. So it's nice that they try to do something beyond just the games itself. But for the games itself, they're like pretty tense. The first season, it felt just so much more organic. And this season is very predictable about who lives and dies.
Oh, really? It's hard for me. I love, like you said, that first season was, bless you.
Sorry.
Was perfect.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to imagine, like, going back to and tinkering with any of that stuff.
Yeah. They're like, they throw, like, because I talked about second season like months ago when I first watched it, but everything, all the interactions between the characters felt a little forced and not as natural, because like for example, they throw a mother and son together in this series, and you know where that's going.
Yeah.
It's not a spoiler, because like obviously it's going to come down to like somebody has to make a decision about what to do. And also they throw in a kind of like a sitcom-esque situation, and this is kind of laughable.
Well, they tried a little bit of that in the first season with that one wild lady, but it didn't got serious again.
Yeah, but like but they threw a different crazy lady in this series.
Yeah.
And
they try to recreate that shit.
Yeah. If you don't want to get spoiled slightly, stop right now. Okay. They throw a pregnant lady in this one, and she gives birth. So there's a baby in the Squid Game.
Oh,
weird.
Shit. I was gonna plug my ears, but I couldn't resist. I heard baby.
Yeah.
There's a baby in the Squid Game.
That, like I said, is like that's a very sitcom-esque situation.
Until the baby gets sliced to ribbons by something.
Well, I haven't gotten to the point I got to the point where the baby gets born, but I don't know what happens beyond that. So who knows?
It's a long-ass Squid Game they had.
It's like, are they going to put like one of the jumpsuits on the baby and give the baby a number or something?
I highly doubt it, Andy. I highly doubt it.
Like the stuff, it still works on like an emotional level, but it just doesn't hit as hard as the first season.
Yeah, and they're trying to do world building, it sounds like, where there's stuff outside of the game, which I liked that being mysterious. I didn't want to know too much about it. Like, and the little bit of answers they do give you are so satisfying, I think, in the first series, that I'm like, okay, I can live with all that. I don't want to I don't want to rock the boat.
Like, it's still good from the first couple episodes I've seen so far, but when you it's just they set the bar so high from season 1 that it's hard to match up to, and inevitably it's going to be compared. So it's still good, but it's just a step down. Yeah. And kind of just silly.
The games are still awesome. I'll watch it for the games, but like I'm not going to bring my heart into it. the first one got my heart in a way I didn't expect it to.
I still have never seen
It's really, really
any
good.
Squid Game.
It's at everything the first season does.
Yeah, that's like, it's like that was like a perfect season of TV.
Yeah.
Kind of like the first season of True Detective.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There are
It's
certain
up there with
things that
that
are,
for sure.
yeah, it's just certain bits of TV that are just perfect, and that was, to me, that was like a perfect season. But yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes, but it's I can't imagine I think it's just gonna get sillier.
Yeah. That and the 4th season of Alf. Those are Andy's two perfect.
Those are my holy grails.
That tells you a lot about Andy.
First season of Benson for Kelley.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Andy. I will say then what I always say. At the end of every show, we say hi to our Beelzebubs. NOTLP. Nope. Patreon.com/NOTLP. If you want to do that. Here are the Beelzebubs. Matt, Branan and Emily, Dr. Brian, Old Dirty Bill Sturd, Bill Fahrner, Blayne Yogurt, Jordache Jeans, Monica, Ernest, Dave, Paul, and Shayna Bobina. That's them. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
See you next week. Bye.
All right, bye.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to bed when his old buddy Leatherface put on